Hello everybody. It is a beautiful day. It's 22, 23 Celsius, something like that. Nice little breeze coming in. I mean, it's the middle of the day, the sun is up there, but it's not bad at all. It doesn't feel hot. I'm sure once I get running, it'll be a little bit different. It always is. But half marathon training starts today, so that's exciting. The last few weeks I've been just running easy, not going out and joining my Tuesday evening interval group and working out and stuff like that, because I really just needed to rebuild and just kind of reset myself. I probably haven't run as much in the last 4 weeks as I'd originally planned on. I missed a couple runs here and there, but it's fine. I've still been, going out regularly, running 3 or 4 times a week and just getting some easy miles in and just, getting a little bit of that aerobic fitness back. So today, September 1st, today is a Tuesday. Today is the official beginning of my half marathon training. So I'm going to be targeting a sub 140 half. Again, that's the goal that I set for myself last year and then got injured like 10 days before the race because I overtrained like an idiot. And I worked through something that should have been a huge red flag and an indication of an injury. But hey, you know what? We make mistakes, we learn from them, we grow from them, and here we are over a year later trying to achieve that same goal. So it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. I'm over it. So setting my sights on 140 half. It's going to be a solo effort, as I've mentioned before, because there are no events actually happening around that time here in Nova Scotia. So it's going to be just a time trial. It's going to be on the groomed, well-groomed trail, the rail to trail system. So I won't get quite the energy return that I would have on pavement, but I just really don't have a flat enough course on pavement handy to run a half marathon that would even be worth trying for the PB. I'd be better off on the trail because it's flatter. So I'm going to go for that. And yeah, here we go. So today's workout, that's the word I'm looking for. Wow, am I ever having a hard time today? Might be all this bright yellow. I'm glowing, I know, but it's because I'm going to be running this on the road. Now, I'm just on this dirt road here now because I'm still at the farm, but I'm going to be running on the main road, and I just want to be visible because it is a high speed road, even though it's not going to be high traffic because we're very rural. I needed to find a good surface for 800s, and it needs to be relatively flat. I mean, my reps are going to be like a little downhill, then a little uphill, a little downhill, a little uphill, but it's going to be pretty gradual, only like 1%, or it's going to be less than a 2% grade, that's for sure. And so I'm going to be doing some 800s, just going to start with 4 times 800 as just like the first kind of starter workout to this training block to start feeling good about moving the legs a little faster, picking it up a little bit, getting some leg turnover. So yeah, I guess really all I need to do now is get started. A little warm up. Okay, warm up is done. There are some dogs around here that do not like me being here. So I think I'm going to change up where I would be starting and ending these intervals. Maybe a few hundred meters down the road because, yeah, I definitely don't want to be pissing these dogs off every 5 minutes. So I'm just going to head down the road a little bit further so that I'm not, disturbing the neighborhood. I've only seen one car so far, so that's not too bad, but yeah, all right, I'm going to get going. Okay, so I just did like 4 strides. So basically, way up there's a little bit of a turn. I just did 4 little strides to get down here, down the road a little bit, away from the dogs. And so I'm kind of in front of this big field. I'll use this as my starting and stopping point. Actually, just down here where there's a very distinguishable tree. I'll use that. But, okay, I mean, this road isn't perfectly even. There's a little bit of a hill here to start and finish this rep, but I think it's about the best I'm going to get around here to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead, do my 4x800, and kind of looking to hit them somewhere in the 5K to 10K pace range. But to be honest, where I'm still just really starting off the training, I don't really even know what that pace would be. Based upon previous fitness levels, it should be somewhere between like a 4:15 to 4:30-ish kind of kilometer pace. Somewhere around that 7-minute mile. A little bit on either side is fine. But I'm just going to go ahead, see what happens, kind of play these by feel a little bit. And there goes car number 2. First rep done. A little bit downhill, but I may have started it out a little bit too fast. I accidentally stopped my watch like an idiot afterwards. So this will upload as 2 separate runs, but okay. It's tougher than I had hoped, but we'll see. Just going to take a 2 to 3 minute rest between reps. Make sure my heart rate gets back down. Get my breathing under control. Soon to start rep number 2, which will be slightly uphill, so probably a bit slower. Okay. Rep 2 in the bag. I'm not going to say I felt easier, but I think I found my stride a little bit on that one. So even though it was uphill, I don't think it was that much slower. So you can scratch that earlier, what I said about it not being that hot. Of course, once I got out moving and I'm in the sun, that has made up for it. But anyway, another minute here and then rep 3. Okay, well, I'd almost convinced myself to stop at 3 reps. Went for 4 instead, but had to call it about halfway through because I had a big dog run out across the road at me. He was friendly. The human was very apologetic, and it was all good, but the scariest thing really is not having a dog coming at me, because I know how to react to that. And, most of the time it's going to be safe. Dogs are more curious than vicious in most cases. But yeah, I was more concerned, a dog running out on a road like this where, there's not a lot of traffic, but most people are driving between 80 and 100 kilometers an hour. I mean, that could have been really, really bad for the dog. And then possibly also for me, depending on how that person would have, swerved. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do intervals on this road again. Looks like there's just too much dog traffic. And that's fine. This is their home. I'll respect that. This is a very rural area. I doubt anybody else has run on this road in a very, very long time. So it's fine. It is what it is, right? So, all right, well, I'm just going to call it there then. I'm just going to jog back to the house. I'm about a mile away, 2K, something like that. And go over some of these stats. Like I say, I accidentally stopped my run after the first lap, or first rep. So now I've got like 2 separate runs, but I did get my 3.5 reps in, so we'll see. It definitely felt tougher, but it's warmer out here than I thought it was, and I should know better than to gauge the temperature at the farm and think that that's what it's like out here in the sun, because up on that hill, the breeze is always fresh. But in any case, first workout of this half marathon training block is done. And I will not call it a failure because it wasn't completed or because the pace wasn't where I wanted. It's a starting point. So that's going to be key for me moving forward in the next couple of weeks, kind of finding what is realistic, and I'll adjust my end goal if necessary. But yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so as we can see here from this part 1 and part 2, I accidentally stopped and deleted the first part of my run today. But this is the first part. So this is just a manual entry on Strava. and it's based upon my best guess at what the paces were. Honestly, I don't know for sure, but it was about a mile warm up. My 800 rep at about a 4:15 pace, and then and there was some strides in there as well. So not really sure, but anyway, the first part was the 3K and rep number one. If we go to part two of this, we go to the overview here for a second. We'll see that this is a lie, number one. This 21C is a lie. It was warmer than that for sure. So we've got about 40 miles now on the Saucony Ride ISO2s. They felt pretty good today. Overall, at about a 5-minute pace. If we, due to a dog running at me on the last one, yeah. So, it is what it is. That kind of sucked. But let's just go to the laps here, not segments, laps for a second. So the first 800, and this one was the slightly uphill, ended up in a 3:32, so a 4:23 pace. I mean, that felt great. That's right where I wanted to be anyway, in between that 5 and 10K pace. So that was actually rep number two. This is after I restarted my watch. That one was great. This one here, for some reason, I mean, you can, if you look at this, for some reason, it's like it's got this little glitched part that added onto this. And I think that has affected the overall pace, because this one's actually slightly downhill. I mean, it's only a couple of meters, but still. But another 10 seconds, and that changes the pace quite a bit for an 800. I don't think it was like that. I think that this little glitched bit is just adding a little something there. It's kind of weird. But in any case, even if it is at a 4:35 pace, that's more like a 10K-ish type of a pace, threshold work. So it's still a good interval for me, because my target half marathon pace is going to be about a 4:44, 4:45 to reach that sub 140. So that's still good work. The last one, I really only got about halfway. That's saying a 4:48, but I didn't stop my watch right away. I mean, it was basically, I come up you can see there's just this slight little bit of a turn here, and there's some long bushes and stuff, and there was this guy outside kind of like cutting some wood or something like that. And I was over on the other side of the road, and this big brown dog just ran at me, like I mentioned before. I think, again, this was probably closer to that, 4:30 pace, maybe, somewhere in that range. But I know I just didn't stop it right away and get to it, because that was a situation. So it was really 3.5 times, 3 and a little bit times 4 or 800 today. That's fine. And then just a little cool down, about a mile back to the place. But it was still a good session. I still feel good about it. I mean, I feel like overall for the day, I ended up with, what's this one? An overview of, yeah. So overall for the day, I ended up with over 4 miles, and 2 miles of that was, or almost 2 miles of that was, some decent work at like a threshold type pace. It was a little bit harder maybe than it should have been, but that's okay. I mean, I'll take it. So anyway, that's the workout, and I will probably wrap it up here. Might have another little clip after this, but in any case, half marathon training has started. Week 1, day 2. Of course, day 1 was yesterday, a Monday, and I take a rest day on Monday, unless something just really, throws things up, or, mixes things up here where I've got to run on a Monday because I've missed Sunday or something like that. But either way, it's not a big deal. So, yeah, it's, a little bit nice running up in the country, but too many dogs along this stretch. So we'll not run there again, at least not for intervals. I mean, if I run by or something, it's not a big deal, but it's not a place to be doing 800s, that's for sure. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.